Hello children, welcome to my class. Before I start the topic industrialization in the colonies, I will recapitulate the topic what we have studied in my last class. We have discussed about industrialization in the European countries, about proto-industrial period, about the features of industrialization, then why the pace of industrial revolution was very slow in the beginning, then the life of the workers in the industrial town. Today we are going to take a new topic, that is industrialization in the colonies. Now colonies means here these were under the British control, that is Asian and African country, where industrialization began later. But here we will discuss only about India. Before we discuss more about Indian industrialization, we would like to refer to that time period, that is before industries came over here. So we will try to understand, that is Indian industries before the age of machines. Before the age of machines, India, we had silk and cotton goods from India dominated the international market. So we were the leading producer of cotton and silk, and there was a huge demand in the international market. Only the coarser cotton, which was produced in many countries, but the finer quality was produced by India. The coarser cotton were produced in many countries. Coarser is the inferior quality. Then how the trade was being done? What are the ways? Who were the people controlled the Indian trade? Armenian and Persian merchants took the goods from Punjab to Afghanistan, Eastern Persia and Central Asia. So we were trading with these countries. Bales of fine textiles were carried on camel's back via the northwest frontier, now which is in Pakistan, through mountain passes. So trade was going on through mountain passes and across deserts. But trade was also taking place through sea routes. Now the trade was also going on through the sea routes, and these were three main pre-colonial ports. One is Surat on Gujarat coast, and there was Machilipatnam on the Coromandel coast, and Hooghly in Bengal. So these are very important. You may get one marker question also. Children, please keep your books open and underline these important points. Everything comes from your textbook. Kindly prepare each and every topic in detail. These topics are very, very important. So we have come across pre-colonial trade. A variety. Now who were dealing with this trade? Who were the people? A variety of Indian merchants and bankers were involved in this network of trade, export trade. They were financing production, carrying goods and supplying exporters. Supply merchants, they were linked the port towns to the inland regions. Now these supply merchants, they used to give advance to the weavers so that they can produce for them, and they procure the woven cloth from weaving villages and carried the supply to the ports. And at the port, the big shippers and the export merchants, they had brokers who negotiated the price. They used to bargain, and these supply merchants used to hand over these products to them. So this way the trade was going on. That this we have just now discussed about the pre-colonial trade. Now things changed. By the 1750s, this network controlled by the Indian merchant was breaking down. Now slowly and gradually the European companies started coming to India, one after another, and these companies, many European powers came in India, Dutch, French, then the Portuguese, but East India Company, they made their hold over the trade. So they got some rights, concessions from the local courts, the local rulers during that time, the Mughal emperors, and then they got the monopoly rights to trade. This resulted into the decline of the old ports. So what resulted into the decline of the old ports? So coming up of the Europeans, and when they took hold over the Indian trade, that led to the decline of the old ports like Surat, Hooghly and the Machilipatnam. So this was how this resulted into collapse of the Indian trade. Exports from these ports fell dramatically. The credit that had financed the earlier trade began drying up. Now the new seaports, that is Bombay and Calcutta, grew much faster. While Surat and Hooghly decayed, the Bombay and Calcutta grew as a new trading or new trading ports. This shift from the old ports to the new port was an indicator of the growth of colonial power. Trade through the new ports came to be controlled by the European companies and carried in European ships. So this was how the trade passed into the hands of the Europeans. Now we would like to know, the next topic is what happened to the Indian weavers during this period when the trade went into the hands of the European merchants. Now the East India Company, that is the 1760s, did not initially lead to decline in the textile export from India. British cotton industries had not yet expanded and Indian fine textiles were in great demand in Europe. Though they were planning to set up their own industry and dominate the international market, but Indian cotton were still in high demand in the international market. So this now one thing they did, that they came as a trader, but they wanted to have a political hold over here, because they knew that to capture the economy, to capture the trade, then they should have a political hold so that they can permanently monopolize the Indian trade. Now this happened and they driven out all the European powers, and finally East India Company, they got the right to trade with India. Once the East India Company established political power, it could assert now monopoly right to trade. It proceeded to develop. Now it started many new things, started management and control, how to control these Indian traders. Firstly, the company tried to eliminate all existing traders. So these are the steps they had taken. That is the brokers connected to with the that is cloth trade. So all those existing traders who were connected to the cloth trade, they were eliminated. They appointed a paid servant called Gumasthas. The Gumasthas supervised the weavers. They used to supervise, collect, supply and examine the quality of the product. So children, you can see that how the Gumasthas, that was the middleman, and they started intervening and they were playing a very important role, and they had a close connection with the weavers. Now, so a question will come on Gumasthas, but they never had a good relation with the Indian weavers. Secondly, it prevented company weavers from dealing with any buyers, and in order to prevent that, they started giving them advance, so that they were bound to supply the products to the East India Company. Those who took loans had to hand over the cloth they produced to the Gumasthas. They were the paid servant of the East India Company. As loans started, flowed in, the demand for the fine textile also expanded. Weavers also started accepting those advance because they were very poor, and many weavers had small plots of land. Previously, they used to cultivate on that small plot of land and used to work for the merchants during the pre-colonial time. But now they had to give the entire time for the weaving. So they are all family members, that is children and other members of the family. They all were engaged in the weaving, and they could not give time to cultivate their land, which was a small plot of land. And now they were engaged in different stages of the process of weaving. Now these weavers, they were, that is the Gomastas which we are talking about, they were not so kind and good. These people, that is Gomastas, never had a good relation with the weavers. Earlier, supply merchants had very often lived within the weaving villages, and they had a close relationship with the weavers, and they used to look after their problems and all. But the new Gomasthas, they were outsiders, they were not from the village, and they had no link with these people, so they acted arrogantly, marched into, and when in delay they used to march into the village with sepoys and peons and punished the weavers for delay in supply. So children, this is how the weavers, they were very arrogant and they never had a good relation with the Gomasthas. So this question is also important. I'll take the next topic in my next video.